and welcome. If you are new here, kindly hit the subscribe button. And if you are already part of us, welcome again. So today we are going to talk about the Kármán line, and the Kármán line is the official boundary between the Earth's atmosphere and space, technically. So this Kármán line is named after the Hungarian American physicist called Theodor von Kármán, just as the name suggests. So this is the guy who came up with this, and you may be asking yourself, what is the Kármán line? The Kármán line is an internationally recognized boundary that defines space. So let's start by defining what space is. Space is where, for example, you become weightless, like the Earth's gravity stops pulling you down, you know. And this area of space starts at roughly 100 kilometers above sea level. Okay, so and within or above the Kármán line, basic physics stops working. Like, for example, if you are on a plane, you cannot go above this Kármán line. Why? Because here the air is very thin. The density is very small. The particles are so much apart that you might need boosters, like rocket boosters, for you to continue climbing or operate aircraft. So we are going to talk also about the International Space Station, and we will know where it is in accordance to the Kármán line. So as we are all aware, the International Space Station, or the ISS, operates at roughly 400 kilometers above the Earth. So it is well beyond the Kármán line. It is operating there because at this area or this region of space, the air resistance is very low, so it needs minimal boosts to keep orbiting the Earth. You might ask yourself, are there any clouds in above the Kármán line? The answer is no, because here water vapor cannot form, and as we know, clouds are made of what? Of water, tiny water droplets. So here, the of the because of how the density is, the water particles cannot form to make clouds. So also above this region called the Kármán line, we have satellites like the TV satellites, which operate at this Kármán line. This is where meteors or meteorites burn up because it is very hot. It is hot because it is in the region called the thermosphere. The thermosphere is above the mesosphere. This is a region which is very hot, but you might not feel the temperature because the density of the particles is very low. Like particles are so much far apart for you to feel the heat. Meteorites burn here because of the high UV radiation that causes photolysis. As you might be aware, photolysis is the process by which particles are split by using the rays from the sun. So when meteorites pass through the thermosphere, which is where the Kármán line begins, they burn up because of this reason. The International Space Station, being 400 kilometers above the Earth, makes roughly 16 orbital rounds around the Earth. So it is a bit fun to see 16 sunsets and 16 sunrises if you board the ISS. Traveling at around 28,000 kilometers per hour or 17,500 miles per hour, it is possible for the ISS to make a trip round the Earth every 90 minutes. Other satellites also move at the same or similar, almost similar velocity to the ISS. For example, satellites that orbit at the lower Earth orbit, that is around 200 to 600 kilometers above the Earth, operate above the Kármán line. Other satellites like GPS satellites often orbit slightly above or a bit higher, for example, at 20,200 kilometers above the Earth for them to be optimum. We call this medium Earth orbit, and they do 2 orbits around the Earth per day. Satellites that are used for telecommunication or weather forecasting and monitoring operate at a higher altitude of about 36,000 kilometers above the Earth, and for them we call them geostationary satellites because they are positioned, like for example, on the equator, and they don't do an orbit, so they are just stationary and they don't move. If you observe them from Earth, you will see them just in one position because they are set in such a way that the Earth's rotation, which is almost 24 hours, corresponds with them. So we have talked about clouds, but we didn't give out this fact that the highest cloud that is almost near the Kármán line, the clouds that are high, the highest clouds that operate or form almost near the Kármán line are called noctilucent clouds, and you might find those types of clouds at an altitude of 76 to 85 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Jet planes operate at an altitude of 12 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, so they are way below the Kármán line. In the beginning, we said if you want to operate above the Kármán line, you need to have some boosters or rockets so that you don't fall or you don't get affected by Earth's gravity. So, did you learn something new about the Kármán line? If so, put it in the comments and see you in the next one. Bye.